वनचारिणतीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. All
Hare
glories to Prabhupada, all glories to Guru and Gauranga. Hare Krishna. Very nice to see you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Well, dear devotees, we have His Grace Jiva Tattva Prabhu who will be speaking to us today. Jiva Tattva Prabhu is spoken on this platform, I think, once, and we were longing for him, and somehow the Krishna arranged that we have his association today. Of course, Prabhuji is here with me in the US. We have another forum that we meet and we discuss, and it's very beautiful. His wife is also an educator. She teaches Krishna consciousness, Bhakti Shastri. Prabhuji himself is a Bhakti Shastri instructor also. So I had introduced him the last time he spoke, but we would do a little bit more introduction and after the class. So Prabhuji, we may put the verse on the screen and then you take it over from here.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Following the parampara, let's start with the invocation prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiryet. Shavatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shamana Kirtanaha Hridayantastho Bhadrani Vidhunoti Suhatsatam Nashta Prayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagvat Sevaya Bhagavate Ruttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavti Nashtiki. Hare Krishna. So today we are covering this chapter 7, canto 2, verse 29 specifically, as we are seeing there are glories of Lord Krishna's appearance and his various pastimes. And this is a very important pastime where there are 3 important lessons we can take and try to purify our life. So we'll be picking those. Let's start with the recitation. Hare Krishna, Srimad Bhagavatam 2:7-29. Tatkkarma divyam iva yan nishinishyanam davagnina shuchivane paridhayamane unnishyati vrajam mato avasitant kalam netre pidhapya sabalo anadhigamaya viryaha. Synonyms: Tat, that; Karma, activity; Divyam, superhuman; Iva, like; that, which; Nishi, at night; Neha Shayanam, sleeping carefully; Dav Agnina, by the glare of the forest fire; Shuchivane, in the dry forest; Paridhya Mane, being set ablaze; Unneshyati, would deliver; Vrajam, all the inhabitants of Vraj; Ataha, hence; Avasita, surely; Antakalam, last moments of life; Netre, on the eyes; Vidhapya, simply by closing; Sabalaha, along with Baladev; Anadhigamya, unfathomable; Viryaha, prowess. Translation by His Divine Grace S.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. On the very night of the day of the chastisement of the Kaliya snake, when the inhabitants of Vrajbhumi were sleeping carefully, there was a forest fire ablaze due to dry leaves, and it appeared that all the inhabitants were sure to meet their death. But the Lord, along with Balaam, saved them simply by closing his eyes. Such are the superhuman activities of the Lord. Purport: although in this verse, the Lord's activity has been described as superhuman, it should be noted that Lord's activities are always superhuman, and that distinguishes him from the ordinary living beings. Uprooting the gigantic banyan or arjun tree and extinguishing a blazing forest fire simply by closing one's eyes are certainly impossible by any kind of human endeavor. But not only are these activities amazing to hear, but in fact, all other activities of the Lord, whatever he may do, are all superhuman, are confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 4.9. Whoever knows the superhuman activities of the Lord, due to their very transcendental nature, becomes eligible to enter the kingdom of Krishna. And as such, after quitting this present material body, the knower of the transcendental activities of the Lord goes back home, back to Godhead. Hare Krishna. Please join us for Guru Prati. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Mukham karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kripa tadaham vande Shri Gurum Deenataranam. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. So, as Srila Prabhupada is revealing in the purport, Lord's any activity that he does, they're all superhuman. And Bhagavad Gita 4.9, Lord is revealing, Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tattvataha taktva deham punajanma neti mameti sorjuna. So one who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. Now someone can say, Lord's eternal abode. But what is that eternal abode like? In this material world, we see this is dukkhalayam shashvatam. The only two characteristics of this material world is it is always changing, but it is also a place of misery and it is non-permanent in nature. And it is a place, again, where constant changes are happening. And happiness and distress, they go in a cycle. And the important characteristics that we should have perception is that Jan Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukha Doshanudarshanam. So if we are in this material world or in material consciousness, then we are seeking the perception of the evil of birth, death, old age, disease. These four elements that go in cycle and makes it very difficult for people to really understand God consciousness. And especially in Kali Yuga, there is a very important aspect that we have to understand. Prayana alpayusha sabhya kalavasmin yuge janaha manda sumanda matyo mand bhag he praduta. So prayana alpayu. So in this material world, in this Kali age, the people have less age, up to 100. Now it's actually reducing to 80 and 70 or so. So again, we don't live as long as people in Satyuga who would live to 100,000 years, or Treta Yuga for 10,000 years, or in Dwapara Yuga for thousands of years. We have 100 years or less. And Kalavasmin Yugejana. Now, Kalav, they constantly disturb. And that is the focus of this pastime. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he reveals this extinguishing the forest fire. This forest fire represents hatred and arguments. This is the effect of Kali age. And if we want to get rid of the main effect of Kali age, all we have to do is hear to this pastime as how devotees, they felt the heat of the fire, and immediately they took shelter of Lord Shri Krishna. They called out to Lord Shri Krishna that, you are our protector, please protect us. And it's very nicely given in Krishna book as well as in Srimad Bhagavatam. But what does this forest fire represent? Hatred and arguments between Vaishnavas and even between different religions. And disrespecting each other's deities or, the scriptures. And it can also represent any kind of clash or conflict. So that's Kali age's effect of Kala Avasmi. Manda Sumanda Matyo. That in this age, Manda, people are lazy. So Manda Matyo, they have less intelligence. Manda Bhagya. So they are not very lucky. And here Upraduta, and they're constantly disturbed. So again, in this particular times, we see that many people present different kind of theories. Like Speedway Elias, he talks about the levels of conflict, the 5 levels of conflict. And if you are doing some level of project management or leadership courses, you come to know of these 5 levels of conflict, where, level first is problem to solve, and then so forth. So again, you basically understand that, okay, there is disagreement, there is contest, and then there is crusade, and finally it's world war. So it's ready to happen at any moment. We see that. And then we also see others presenting similar aspects. When we look at, Thomas Kilman's model, we talk about assertiveness and then cooperativeness on other scales. So less assertive, less cooperative, when the two parties, one party is, feeling that they're not getting any cooperation, so they avoid, they don't show up. And when they are very cooperative but not assertive, then they're just accommodating. They're just, okay, whatever you want to do, go ahead, do it. And then if you are very assertive but not very cooperative, then you are competing, you're putting the other party down. And somewhere in the middle, there is a compromise. And that compromise is both parties feel that the other party got the bigger piece of cake. And that becomes the ground for the future conflicts. While the best solution is collaborating, that's what they say. This is what the Thomas Kilman model people hear. But here we see Lord Krishna, how he actually changes the whole situation very sweetly into a completely different realm. So those are all his superhuman activities. So when Krishna, he was a baby, he slayed Putana. That's a superhuman activities. And so many demons, he killed Trinavarta, Aghasura, and so many further on, including Vyomasura and Keshi demon, Agishta, so Arishta Sura, and so forth. So we talk about all these demons who are appearing in Vrindavan and they are getting killed. Just a 7-year-old boy, as a 7-year-old boy, Lord Krishna is playing that pastime where he lifts Govardhan Hill. And he held it for 7 days and 7 nights. We can't even our empty hands up for an hour. It starts paining. Can you imagine? That's superhuman. Can you imagine a 7-year-old boy holding a whole mountain? So this is superhuman. Very sweet pastime. And he changes the worst situations into very pleasing situation. That is another beauty. As we see, when Indra caused that torrential rain and Lord Krishna lifted the Govardhan hill. So all the Brajvasis, the Gopa boys and the Gopis and all the Brajvasis and the cows and calves, everyone was in that shelter. And Lord Krishna was looking at them with those loving eyes. Normally, when Lord Krishna would leave for cow herding, the gopis and the elderly gopis, and they couldn't see Lord Krishna because he was in the jungle, and they would wait for the evening when he would return. And when he would return in the evening, his day would continue, and the Gopa boys will be on their home and they couldn't see. But these 7 days, 7 nights, that separation went away. 24 hours for those 7 days, 7 nights, they were constantly seeing Krishna. And that time passed like a moment. When Lord Krishna, as a toddler, approached the Arjun trees, and these Arjun trees were Nal, Kuber, and Manigriva, they were cursed by saying Narada. And that is said to be very simple activity. Well, Lord, he just, to please his devotee Narad, that he had given this curse, and then at the same time that Lord Krishna's, they will be able to see Lord Krishna face to face, these two sons of Kuvera. He gives them that insight. So again, completely transforming a curse to a benediction. And that is also the glories of Lord's devotees, pure devotees of the Lord like Devashi Narad. And here we hear about such wonderful translation by Srila Prabhupada, which are his transcendental ecstasies. We feel the hair standing on the end. So because it's so sweet and so heart transforming, and we feel the gratefulness, we feel the love in our heart. And we all know Lord is known as butter thief. And when in dark, he would enter the room, the gopis would say, there is some effulgence from his body, so there is no darkness. Everything can be seen very clearly. So even in dark situation, and I was reading this and I was hearing Srila Prabhupada describe that actually Brahman is eternal. We all understand Brahman. One of the characteristics is eternal. Sat Chit Anand. Sat is eternal, and that's the characteristic of Brahman. That means every place there is Brahman. That means there is not a single place which is not lighted. But our eyes are built in such a manner that we see darkness. And in the material world, Brahman becomes avyakta. That's what Lord, unmanifested. Avyakta refers to unmanifested. And that is such a shocking thing that in this material world, with our material eyes, senses are limited. We understand this fact very much from that example itself. Even though Brahman is everywhere, we cannot see Brahman because it's much subtle. Yet, Lord Krishna, when he is present, Krishna Surya Sama Maya hi Andhakara, Jaha Krishna Taha nahi Maya Radhikara. Lord Krishna is like the sun. While material energy, Maya, is like darkness. So where Krishna is there, then there cannot be darkness. So when you're facing the sun, you're seeing all light. When you put your back to the sun, then you look at your shadow. And that shadow is this body. We're thinking, oh, I'm this body. That's material consciousness. So here we are seeing Lord is completely transforming the situation from worse to so transcendently heartwarming, so sweet. We all hear about Lord Brahma's pastime, the Brahma Vimohan Lila, where Brahma had, tried to show his prowess, his siddhis, you know, his mystic power. He had stolen all the calves and their cowherd boys. And Lord expanded into all the calves and cowherd boys. For a whole year, the cows and the gopis who are mother of these cowherd boys, they get to, see Krishna as their son. So Lord expanded into all these cowherd boys with exactly their features, their behavior, their voice, perfect transformation. And now the gopis felt attracted towards their own children. And they were feeding these children. And for 1 year, which was actually a very like shocking scenario, which was created by Lord Brahma, was completely transformed into something which was so sweet for all the Vrajvasis. You can imagine if a child is lost, what would be the state of the parents? They would be devastated. But instead, feeling the absence of their children, they were having Krishna as their children. And they were thinking, oh, my son is so beautiful. My son is so sweet. My son is so lovely. And they were directly interacting with Krishna through this manifestation of Lord Krishna. And Lord Krishna means, again, we see time and again, he humbles Indra and asks for forgiveness. And with bare hands, he slayed the washerman at Mathura. So again, those pastimes are also there. The flower garland maker, the florist, Sudama, was blessed. The Brahmins were blessed. And then Kubja was transformed into a beautiful girl. That's an ultimate makeover. When people are looking at makeover, you can't find a better example of makeover than, Kubja. Trivakra, her body was bent in 3 places. People would not like to look at her because she was so deformed. But Lord Krishna, being pleased by her service. Now, this is the glory of, if we just decide to serve Krishna, we get the blessings. Now, what if we serve Krishna? You can imagine what will we get in return. And this is where we hear from the examples of Brajvasis that we get all protection. Neha bikram natasti pratyevayo na vidyate solpam asya dharmasya trayate mehto bayan. There is no diminution in this process. And a little service done for the pleasure of the Lordship, to please Lord Krishna. We can be saved from the greatest dangers. So we can understand from various pastimes as how all this is happening so sweetly. And Lord, He is giving us such wonderful revelation of the sweetness He is having, the exchanges He is having with His devotees. What all other pastimes can you think of? I would like to give an opportunity. Is there any other pastime that comes to your mind of Lord Krishna? In a very difficult situation, He just turns it around. Sadhya Prabhu, is it okay for others to speak, or should I continue? Maybe we can ask in the end.
Maybe in the end.
Okay, at the end.
Yeah, just to
Yeah.
let it know. Yeah.
So you have preparation time now, right?
Yeah.
Now, Krishna's mercy is so sweet. That's another aspect we hear. When Narayani Mataji was having a conversation with Srila Prabhupada, she was trying to understand why is this material world so difficult. And Srila Prabhupada brought her to that original instructions as a revelation that's in the Shastra, that this material world is like an ocean. And if you fall in the ocean, what will happen? There will be constantly waves hitting you. That's the nature of an ocean. So the constant waves will hitting you. Will you just say, waves, you stop? I am here, so now you got to stop. No, you cannot do that. You have to continue to do your services. You need to continue to perform your duties. And Lord, He is a swift deliverer. If He is pleased by our service, then he simply picks us up from that ocean and quickly delivers us. So again, in the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, there is a beautiful verse that reveals this. Teshaham samuddhata mrityu sansara sagarat. And he is Vamina Chiratpatha. Again, he's a quick deliverer. He just picks up from this ocean and delivers us. So that is another glory. Now, many times people say, oh, I will build capability so I can fight these ocean waves. That's the mood of an Ashtanga yogi. Gyan yogi is one, I know that the waves are very strong, so I'll stand on the beach. I won't even enter the ocean. But you are in the middle of ocean. You cannot be in a state of not acting. That inaction is not favorable. So people say our capabilities, problems, issues, conflicts, they come day in, day out. Now, I would like to say, raise your hand if you have not, seen conflicts on a daily basis. Even if you cannot think of a conflict as of this moment, raise your hand. I would like to know who's the person here who doesn't have a conflict, right? That's the nature of this world. We are constantly under conflict. Upadruta, we are constantly disturbing this material world. And this forest fire, extinguishing forest fire, is the pastime where if we hear this, you get the resolution because Lord's potency comes into effect. Mahatmanas to Mambata, Devim Prakriti Bhashya. So we get shelter of Devim Prakriti, which is the internal potency. And this verse in Bhagavad Gita is so sweet because this is where Lord quickly introduces Radharani. That's the glory. He is introducing that you get the shelter of your mother. And that's why we call out to the mother to engage us in the service because it's not a right, it's a privilege. And the simple call out is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We are calling out my mother Radha and my dear Father Krishna. Please engage me in your loving devotional service. And this is the mood of Brajvasis. They are constantly, spontaneously engaged in Lord's service. Now here, when Shukdev Goswami is revealing the history of Kaliya in the 17th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, 20th to 24th verse, this is where this forest fire is being discussed. And here, what had happened? What caused all these Brajvasis to, just go to sleep there? So here, Shukdev Goswami is saying, "O best of kings Parikshit, Maharaj, because the residents of Vrindavan were feeling very weak from hunger, thirst, and fatigue." Means they were already tormented when they saw Lord Krishna fighting with Kaliya. They were thinking, oh, today Krishna is gone. There were so many, omens they saw that they were thinking, oh, our Lalla, our Nandalala, he is not going to be saved today. And then when they saw Krishna coming out, being worshipped by the wives of Kaliya at that time, and Lord Krishna came out, it's as if they had again regained their life. But all that day-long fight, seeing that scene was so heavy that they were tired. They didn't have any strength to go back home. And they were feeling thirsty. They were feeling hungry and so weak, and that they decided, and the cows that were there, they decided to spend the night where they were. They just laid down on the bank of the Kalindi. And during the night, while all the people of Vrindavan were asleep, a great fire blazed up within the dry summer forest. And this is the characteristic of dry forest. So in the dry times, when the dry branches of the trees, they rub against each other, the sparks happen and that quickly catches fire. And it's very much prevalent in the bamboo trees. This is seen in the bamboo forests. And this fire, it's very strange that it surrounded the inhabitants of Vraj from all sides and began to scorch them. Now, normally when the fire starts from one side, it starts spreading from that. This is a fire starting from all around. And Acharyas revealed that actually This was a friend of Kalia. Seeing that Kalia was chastised and driven away, this friend of Kalia was upset. And so he decided on his fire chariot, he decided to just kill all the inhabitants of Vrindavan who were just resting there. And then the residents of Vrindavan, they woke up because of the heat, extremely disturbed by the great fire threatening to burn them. And they took shelter of Krishna spontaneously, who by his spiritual potency appeared like an ordinary human being. So Lord, he can appear in whatever form, he is still superhuman. And the Lord, how did it say? Krishna, Krishna, O Lord of all opulence. O Ram, a possessor of unlimited powers. So they're calling out to Krishna and Balram. This most terrible fire is about to devour us, your devotees. So they know that they are the devotees. It is by the influence of Yog Maya who puts them in forgetfulness so that Lord can have loving exchange with his devotees. O Lord, we are your true friends and devotees. Please protect us from this insurmountable fire of death. We can never give up your lotus feet, which drive away all fear. So seeing his devotees so disturbed, Shri Krishna, the infinite Lord of the universe and possessor of infinite power, then swallowed the terrible forest fire. And all they had to do, so Lord can do all activities, doesn't even have to open his eyes. And the second forest fire, he asked his friends also to just close their eyes. And immediately they are not just, the forest fire is gone, they are actually immediately transported to their regular playground, Bahulavan forest. So that's also amazing. Like all these cows and cowherd boys, they could just be transported. So if we are talking about future, this transportation of, just on your will, that's one of the siddhis as well. You can go like a transcendental spaceman, Devashi Narad, the sage Narad does. So here, this extinguishing fire has been extinguished, this forest fire has been extinguished by Lord Krishna as a reciprocation of love to protect his devotees. One important characteristic that shines out is Lord is Bhavgahi Janatan. He is looking at the feelings, our feelings, as we approach him. So even though two devotees may be serving the Lord still knows which devotee is having desire as a trade exchange versus who is doing for the pleasure of the Lordship. So again, he knows everything. That's an important aspect we should remember. And as we are serving and we are seeking Lord's pleasure, then Lord is also known by the name Bhakta Vatsala. Bhakta is devotees, Vatsala is chest. So when you have something very dear, you keep it close to your heart. This is what it's meaning. So Lord, he loves his devotees so much that he keeps them very close to their hearts. So when devotees are in trouble, he changes the whole situation around, completely transforming them. And that is the sweetness. Again, he is sweet to look at. And it's very interesting. When Lord is good and sweet, he's number one in all cases. He's superhuman, he's number one in all cases. So even for the cheaters, he's cheater number one. So devotees are constantly protected. And now in Bhagavad Gita, and Krishna book as well as Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the 10th canto, and Srila Prabhupada summarized it as Krishna book, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is a pastime where Mahavishnu, Karno Dakshai Vishnu, wants to say Krishna. He's eager to say Krishna because Krishna is more beautiful, Roop Madhurya. That's one characteristic Krishna has, even Lord Vishnu doesn't have. And he has this eagerness of seeing Krishna. And to see Krishna, he has actually taken away 9 sons of a Brahmana. Right at their birth, those babies died. And now the 10th one, again, after the 9th one, this Brahmana comes. And he is coming at outside King Ugrasen's palace. And he's calling out that what is going on? My babies are dying. This is the 9th one that died. And Arjun hears. And he says, don't you think there is a Kshatriya in this place? And he's feeling little puffed up. We saw, in Bhagavad Gita was spoken to him, but the material energy is very strong. And it is by Krishna's arrangement, Acharyas reveal, that is put into that delusion again. That mode of passion becomes active. And he's saying, Oh, I will protect your son for the 10th one. So when the 10th son is about to be born, Arjun goes and uses his arrows to completely protect. Nothing can enter. And then guess what? 10th one is born and dies immediately. The Brahman had only accepted Arjun's request when he understood that he will enter fire. And Arjuna was about to enter fire, and Krishna intervenes. He says, no, no, let's go and get the sun. But then, when Arjuna had actually tried all 14 planetary systems within this material world, Lord Krishna took him to Karna ocean, where Karnadaksha Vishnu is there. And Karnadaksha Vishnu wanted to see Krishna in person. Sometimes even devotees have some desires, and there may be some selfish desire. We are not talking of devotees, we are talking of Vishnu Tattva. Karnadaksha Vishnu is Vishnu Tattva. He is a Somsha, planetary expansion. And there, Krishna and Arjun, they come in the form of Narayan. So he's not able to satisfy his desire, but they get all the 10 sons back to the Brahmana. Brahmana only wanted one son, the 10th son, to be saved. Now, Krishna doesn't just protect Arjuna, doesn't just cheat again, Karnadaksha Vishnu, he brings all 10 sons of that Brahmana back. Completely reversal. It's a complete reversal. It's a superhuman beyond our conception, beyond it's that's why it's achintya. It is inconceivable. Lord's pastimes, every action is so sweet. So this is what we hear today. That all we have to do is take shelter as the Vrindavan Vasis take shelter of Lord Krishna. And all crises, all conflicts, all disturbances will quickly die down, just like Lord Krishna swallows that forest fire. Hare Krishna. So any questions or comments at this point?
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very beautiful Krishna Katha with stories to buttress what you were sharing with us. So, dear devotees, if anyone may have questions, comment, you may raise your physical hand or the emoji, and they will be asked to unmute to speak. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, I have one question for you, please. And
Yes.
that is, well, it's very beautiful the way you shared this pastime and the lessons to learn from this pastime. Of course, there are many, but the few you shared with us, very beautiful. Krishna, Krishna protects. He has told Arjun that he should announce that his devotee will never vanquish.
Yes.
What does Krishna really mean when he says that his devotee will not vanquish? It was Krishna talking about his devotees never going to have any problems? But because you were saying, which in our experience, if this material world is an ocean, if you are in an ocean, definitely the waves are going to come at you. So we are in this material world and problems are bound to happen. But Krishna says to Arjuna to announce to the world that his devotees shall never vanquish. What does that statement actually mean? If you may help us. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes. This is Krishna's promise. Kanteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranshati. Bhagavad Gita is where he is revealing that Arjun, you declare it boldly that my devotee shall not perish. When we look at this promise by the Lordship, first he is identifying who shall not perish. He's saying my devotee. So one who is coming closer to Krishna, one who is looking to please Lord Krishna, he shall not perish. And sometimes people do mistake it to be the body, that it will be the body pain that will not perish. But in reality, it's a journey towards Krishna that will not stop. We take one step towards Krishna, Krishna takes 10 steps towards us. Our steps are puny steps. First step, he covered the earth. Second step went to the end of the universe. So his steps are gigantic steps. So Lord Krishna is protecting us on our journey towards him, back home, back to Godhead. Because he doesn't have to protect anyone in Vaikuntha because everyone is already protected. His presence is everywhere. He's omnipotent, omniscient. So there is no need because there is no demon. But here in the material world, the protection comes. And we see the example of Parikshit Maharaj. He is bound to die in 7 days. He only has that duration. His another name is Vishnu Rat, means one who is protected by Lord Vishnu, because when he was in the mother's womb, Uttara's womb, at that time Brahmastra was shot by Ashwatthama. And Lord Krishna, he protected that baby so that the generation of Pandavas can go on. And now he sent Shukdev Goswami so that Parikshit Maharaj can attain perfection by hearing the glories of Lord and his loving devotees. And that protection is our journey back home. So it was not the body, because when Takshak snake bites, immediately Parikshit Maharaj's body turns into ash. But his journey had already begun before that bite could even happen. This is very interesting that you talked about. At the last moment of death, right? For devotees, there is lightning and then thunder. So of lightning and thunder, you see lightning first, and then the thunder, the sound appears afterwards. In the case of a normal person who's not a devotee, a non-devotee, only thunder happens during life and even after life. So Krishna is protecting us in our journey towards him back home, where we will be eternally happy. So he is making sure that we can quickly come to him, all his devotees. And now Krishna is also very tricky, we know that, right? He says, I will not raise any weapon. And then he picks up a whole wheel to respond to Bhishmadev. And Arjun has to hold on to his feet. Please, I will fight, I will fight. So here we see another example. In case of Krishna, he doesn't even have to lift that wheel because the washerman, he just chopped off his head with his bare hand when he entered Mathura, and that washerman was saying, oh, the king will punish you if you try to use these clothes. So there we see Krishna, he's always ready to even break his own words when he makes them. Yet at the same time, he is asking, Arjun, you declare. Because he's asking that his devotee declares, he will definitely keep that promise. So that's the significance. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Does that answer your question?
Oh, perfectly. Yes. So beautifully. Uh, I mean, I had been thinking about that statement, and I didn't really think about it along the lines you shared, but it makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much, because otherwise, devotees may say Krishna is lying to his promise, but Krishna never lies. So thank you for the explanation. Any devotee with any question, comment, realizations from the Katha we've heard today?
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Govinda Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, thank you very, very much for this wonderful class. I think Prabhu has more to say about this question you asked, Sadev Prabhu. Prabhu has more to say about it, and we would like Prabhu to go deeper. Prabhu, could you please help us to understand what were the circumstances around Krishna asking Arjuna to declare to the whole world that my devotee shall never perish? What were the circumstances that made Krishna ask Arjuna to say that?
Yes, just the verse before this verse, Lord Krishna says, Shipram bhavati dharmatma. So yes, if there is an accidental fall of a devotee, then the devotee will quickly recover from that fall. So we have to also understand how do we define success and failures in life? So in the material world, people have the definition of failure, but in the life of a devotee, the term failure doesn't even exist. Just like in the material world, people are looking at impossible. And then Srila Prabhupada says impossible is spelled like I am possible. So in the devotee's life, nothing is impossible because we are endeavoring for Krishna. And Krishna can overcome any kind of impossibilities when we are looking to please him. So we are relying on his potency, his capacity. We have limited capacity, he has unlimited capacity. We have limited potency, he has unlimited. So in this particular case, Lord Krishna is revealing that yes, it's not that we're in the material world, it's not that we'll not make mistakes. Just like Arjun, after having gone through the whole war when he was visiting Dwarka at that time, he actually felt like he is a Kshatriya, and he actually even insulted Krishna in front of the Brahman. He's like, I'm not like Krishna, I'm not like Sankarshan, I'm not like Pradyumna and Aniruddha, I'm Arjuna, the bearer of the Gandiva bow. So you can see when you read that translation, it's like he got a little puffed up there. And that's an accidental fall down because the modes are always fighting and trying to overpower us. And that's the effect of this material world, the material energy, that we start thinking, I am such and such. And that's where envy comes in. And mine is such and such, that's where lust comes in. And both of these are actually the root at what can cause a fall down. And I refers to like envy. I'm American, I'm African, I am a white, I'm a yellow, and so many other varieties. I'm a manager, I'm a president, I'm the leader. So all these are related to I, causes envy. And then mine, I have the house, I have this wife, I have these children, I have the cars, and I have all this land, and that causes envy. Then you become envious of others who have more than what you have. And these further lead to other anarthas, unwanted things. Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Mad, Matsara. And when we see these negative, lust, anger, greed, pride, envy, delusion, there are all these quarrelsome things. And that is the topic today. That all these conflicts, all these crises, all these clashes between Vaishnavas, between different religions, between different scriptures, all this gets resolved when we take shelter of Lord Krishna and just seek his shelter. And that fall down that happens, like Prabhu was asking, Govind Prabhu was referring to. Here we have to understand that, yes, we may make a mistake because of our limited capacity, but we should not be looking at our potency to overcome it because we have limited potency. We should completely rely on Krishna's potency. And that's why the Vrindavan Vasis, the Vrajvasis, they directly take shelter of Krishna and quickly, Shipram Bhavati Dharmatma. And quickly we get established. That getting established is taking shelter of Krishna. And then Krishna protects. So that's an important aspect. So we, just like we see this Damodar Leela, there are two important aspects we learn. Every time the rope was less by two-finger distance was because the first one finger represents R and Jiva, and second is Lord Krishna's mercy. So when we seek Lord Krishna's mercy, Lord Krishna's mercy flows, we are quickly reestablished in our life. Now, sometimes it's very interesting that Rajsuya Yagya that Pandavas did, Yudhishthira Maharaj, he comes to Krishna and said, it's nice that people should look at this opulence of Rajsuya Yagya, where your devotees, the Pandavas, we are looking so opulent that even Indradev would be envious. So this is given extensively in Mahabharata. Why is he saying that? Because if you look at the life of Pandavas, that was the only happy time and opulent time they had. Otherwise, they were always either running for their lives or, being sent out to the forest or living incognito, agyatwas, that the 12th year. And then if revealed, they will again have to repeat those 11 years and then incognito they have to live. So they were poisoned. The house was tried to be burned down. They were tried to be cheated of their lands. Their wife was, they were trying to dethrone, Chirhan of Draupadi. And all these incidents reveal that while Pandavas were going through so many tribulations, there was one thing that was consistent. Their surrender to Krishna was complete. And that's why, no matter what the situation was, they always came out victorious. They never gave up hope. And that is a very hopeful. So we have to have hope against hope. And Lord Krishna would deliver us. Does that answer the next level for you, Praveen Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you very, very much, Prabhu. Yes, but also, Prabhu, there is also a saying in the scriptures that that of an mad elephant offense. You see, this statement by Lord Krishna is very, very powerful and is very, very encouraging. That it gives us hope that our Lord would by all means give us shelter. Now, how do you relate to this, to the statement of a mad elephant offense? If one can commit an offense that may destroy whatever punya he has acquired from his practice. Can this statement of Lord Krishna apply to such a person? Because once your credit is being destroyed, then you don't have any chance again to become a devotee. You have nothing to depend on. Or what kind of devotee is Krishna referring to? If Krishna said, my devotee shall never perish, who is a devotee?
Great question, Prabhu. So again, who is a devotee? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu makes it very easy for us to understand in this age. Whoever is chanting the holy name, whoever is pleasing Krishna is a devotee. So if anyone even chants once, consider that person because their journey has started. In this regard, Srila Prabhupada gave a very nice example. Once he was giving a class, and there was a drunkard, homeless person sitting in the back. He came with a toilet roll, the toilet paper roll, and he came and kept it in front of Prabhupada as an offering, and he left. Srila Prabhupada immediately said, see, his journey just started. His journey has already begun. With that single mood, I should give something to this Swami. I should give something to this Vaishnava. The journey starts. So that's way of understanding that Lord Krishna's mercy is there that has allowed him to make that offering. It's a great opportunity. First that. Then we should not be committing any offense. And we should not be committing any offense towards anyone because we do not know who is a devotee. And if we are thinking that Jivera Surupaya Krishna Nitya, that means everyone is a devotee, everyone is an eternal servant of Krishna from the soul perspective. And when an offense to a Vaishnava is done, Vaishnavas, they are so magnanimous, they don't take it to their heart. But Krishna takes it seriously. Srila Prabhupada gives the example, one may bear heat on their head, but not on their feet. If you have someone walking on a hot ground or in the desert at noon, you can understand the sand is hot. You don't so much cover your head, but you definitely need to wear shoes because your feet cannot. So that's like, you're heating up Lord Krishna's feet, and that's where devotees are living. So we should definitely avoid mad elephant disease because Bhakti Lata, a devotional creeper in our garden, will be quickly destroyed if we do this Vaishnava offense. There is fence also. So Acharyas give the whole analogy of what this garden of bhakti is. This fence is devotee association. So it protects us from other animals. But a mad elephant will destroy this fence and come through and destroy the bhakti lata. The weeds, they are the anarthas that are creeping up. So we have to constantly look at those anarthas and keep the area clean so that the nutrition goes mainly to bhakti lata and grows. And finally, the fruits are enjoyed afterwards as an offering of flowers to Lord's lotus feet. So, responding to your, mad elephant disease, we have to pay attention to all these factors and constantly do our service. The cleaning of creeper, feeding the creeper, is through the chanting of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare Rama, Rama
Hare.
Rama, Hare Hare.
I see Shalja Mataji.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yes, we have Shaijab Mataji. Please, you may unmute.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna dear devotees.
Is it possible to turn on your camera, please? Is it possible? If it's not possible, it's okay.
Yes, Prabhuji, I am in somewhere place
All
like
right,
not
no
at home.
problem. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Prabhuji, I have a question. Why devotees fall down from their position even though they have been hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, they have been hearing the lectures? Why do they fall in this trap? This is my question, and Prabhuji, if you could answer this thing.
There are two factors. This Acharyas explained. First is to make us realize that these are devotees who are living entity in this material world. So the material world is very strong to help us understand that this material world, we should always be cautious that this material world is very strong. Devi Hesha Gurumai Mama Maya Duratyaya. She is very difficult to overcome. First is to understand. So if people who have fallen, we should be more accepting that yes, because of the material energy's strength, they fell down, but we should be still all encompassing and giving help to all the children of Lord Krishna. So again, we should not make that distinction on the bodily level or by someone's action. We should try to see that everyone has an opportunity to grow. Second is, when devotees do that, we are looking at accidental fall down also. So that accidental fall down, they immediately take shelter. Second is the solution aspect. First is, yes, this happened. Second is solution. We see that the devotees immediately take shelter of Lord Krishna's lotus feet. So Rupa Goswami, he talks about those 6 principles that helps us come closer to Krishna, right? And those, devotees immediately are remembering those. It's very interesting that you asked this question because we were talking about this. There is a very famous saying by Kabir Das, दुख में सुमिरन सब करे, सुख में करे न कोई, जो सुख में सुमिरन करे, दुख का है कोई. When people are happy, then they don't take to devotion service. It's when they are in distress that they're saying, oh, let me take shelter of Lord Krishna and so forth. And those offenses, there are 6 reasons that kind of like destroys one's devotion, is also reflecting back to the previous question. Atyahara prayasya prajalpo niyamagraha jana sanghasya lalyamcha sadbhir bhakti vinashyati. So we also see in some cases that if there is an intentional action taken, then it destroys our devotion service also. So this is to caution us that we should not intentfully carry out an action. Accidental fall down, understood. But that we should not say, okay, if I'll fall down, Lord Krishna will protect. Because atyahara, eating more than necessary or hoarding more than necessary. You have basic needs, it has been satisfied by Lord Krishna when we are serving Lord Krishna and we are carrying out our duties properly. Prayashas, over endeavor. This body is meant to please Lord Krishna, but when we do over endeavor, that's not favorable. Prajalpo, engaging in gossip. Niyam agraha. Niyamagraha is niyam agraha, which is rejecting all the rules and regulations. And niyam agraha is getting attached to the rules and regulation of forgetting about the spirit behind those, the essence behind those rules and regulation. So just doing rituals, one become ritualistic. But when you understand the essence behind those rituals, then you become spiritualistic. Spirit plus rituals, those two have to be together. You have to understand why you're doing what you're doing. And Jana Sanghasya, Lalyamcha, having non-devotee association where people are talking about wine, women, and money. So that's another place people fall down. And our devotional creeper is, it dries out very quickly. And Lalyam, greed for material things. There is nothing that you can take with you, but people are crazy about hoarding things in this material world. Does that answer your question, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hari Bol.
Yes, I see someone else as well. Seema Mataji, you have a question?
Yes. Seema Chanan, please, you may unmute.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, devotees.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, we just heard about mad elephant disease. Do devotees never fall a prey to that disease?
Now that's a very important, very interesting topic. Sometimes devotees do that because of the lesson comes from the influence of material energy. It gives us an example where Arjun, this story is in Mahabharata. There was a king by the name Yashraj, also referred to as Vedraj at places. He was a great devotee of Lord Krishna. And Arjun and he happened to come into a quarrel on a topic. So they decided to fight. There's a duel going on. And at this particular time, it's very strange that Lord Krishna was still the charioteer of Arjun. Arjun is holding the Gandiva. He's fighting with this king. Now, the glories in this particular pastime is that this king was a great Kshatriya too. And Arjun, every arrow he's shooting, the king is destroying that arrow. He's giving a perfect response. So at this moment, Arjun becomes a little bewildered. He takes out Pashupati Shastra, the favorite weapon of Lord Shiva, and he shoots that, and the king destroys it. Now, Arjun is even more bewildered. Like, he destroyed this. Maybe I should take out Brahmastra. He takes out Brahmastra, and the king destroys that too. Then what is better than Brahmastra? Narayana Astra, right? We see that even Lord Shiva and Lord Krishna, when they were fighting at that time, that Narayana Astra defeated the Shiv Astra. So here Shiv Jwara was destroyed by Vishnu Jwara. So that Astra, he shoots that, and even that is destroyed. Now Arjun is bewildered. At that time, Lord Krishna says, okay, Arjun, I will preach you again, Bhagavad Gita. So again, this is another time when Bhagavad Gita is spoken to Arjun because he's giving up hope on the battlefield. And the king hears, oh, Krishna is doing Bhagavad Gita, let me also sit. So he keeps his weapons down, he comes and joins as well. So both Krishna and Yashraj, both of them are listening to this Bhagavad Gita. Very nice Bhagavad Gita recitations going on. Are you established? Arjun says, yes, I'm established back to perform my duty. Again, fight. He goes, and then the king goes. This time, Arjun says, but I have tried all the ones. What should I try? Yes, Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna says, try Keshava Astra. So this time the arrow is Keshava. Well, Lord Krishna, Lord Keshava is riding on it, seated on it in the front. So as he's shooting that king responds to this, that this Keshava Astra, the arrow gets split from between. The lower part goes near the feet of the king onto the earth, glorifying the king that you could even do this. This is Lord Krishna's own, he's riding on this, and you could split into half. The second one, the upper one, comes and chops off his head. But then as his head is rolling, he's saying, hey Govinda, hey Gopal, hey Keshinandan, I get Keshi Nishudan, and he's just Yashoda Nandan, Devaki Nandan. And now Arjun is in grief. What did I just do? So yes, sometimes Lord Krishna wants to set an example that the devotees, their fall down is accidental. And even if sometimes they may do it, like we hear about Chitraketu, who laughed at Lord Shiva. He was laughing, it's a different mood. But, Parvati, she looked at him, oh, he's mocking my husband. She cursed him immediately. So he could have responded, oh, how could you curse me? I was not doing that. But he accepts, Mother, you have given me this. I accept it fully. And that still, his path going back home was not stopped. He appeared as Vritrasur, and his path continued, and he returned back home, back to Godhead, by the mercy of Krishna. So we get so many lessons from these sweet stories where even accidental death, or even sometimes intentional, they are in a fight and they are fighting with each other. And one wins, one loses, but in reality, both wins. When Vritrasura and Indra, they were fighting, Indra was fighting to get back his kingdom. But Vritrasura was fighting to go back home, back to Godhead. Both got what they wanted. So it's up to us to choose, what do we want? Do we want to be attached to this material world, or do we want to go back home, back to God? Hare Krishna. Does that answer your
Hare
question?
Krishna. Certainly, Prabhuji.
Sima Chanan, we can't thank you enough for your question. And JIVA TATTVA Prabhu, thank you so much for the answer. I know you are very, very busy, and it is just by Krishna's amazing, amazing mercy that we have your association today. And
Hare Krishna, Prabhu Sadev. Your voice is too low.
My voice is low.
Yeah, now it's okay.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Sorry. Yes, I was saying we can't thank Prabhuji well enough for his Krishna Katha delivery. And the questions that have come are all beautiful. Prabhuji, we would like to have your association in the very near future. And this time we would like you to discuss more on offenses, because it's something that is very, very grave. Nobody wants to commit offenses, but there are others also who kind of frighten every devotee with offenses, up to a point that nobody even wants to say a word, because if you say a word, you commit an offense. So I think it will be a very nice time to discuss that, but we will see. So, dear devotees, we're going to humbly request you all to kindly unmute, and we all chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to express our appreciation to our revered speaker. In fact, before he goes, before Prabhuji goes, let me say a few things about this beautiful devotee. This is JIVA TATTVA Prabhu. Of course, he is, like I said, he is my big brother here in the States. He is a direct disciple of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Swami Maharaj, and he is professionally, he has lots of degrees and accolades. We're not going to be able to read them all out, but he has a bachelor's from India in electronics and telecommunication. He has master's in computer science from Johns Hopkins University in Washington, D.C. He works for a leading global company, coaching and training in leadership development. And so if we need any leadership concerns, we can cry out to him. He is also, like I said, he is a Bhakti Shastri teacher, and his wife is also a Bhakti Shastri teacher. So, Prabhuji, we are very much thankful for your association. He is also in charge of Karuna Care. That is devotees who care for those who are in their last days leaving this material planet, give them comfort and devotional needs. So he's a very wonderful soul. Like I said, I knew him from one sangha that we meet, and he always speaks so beautifully and so humbly. I've been trying to learn from him. I'm not humble, but we'll see. Please pray for me. Salika is laughing. So, dear devotees, we're going to humbly request you all to kindly unmute, and we all chant the loudest Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to express our appreciation to our review.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
His Grace Jiva Tattva Prabhu ki
Kripal Sandhya Shivata Pachitana Pavana Bebyo Bachana Bebyo Namo Namaha.
Grace Jiva Tattva Prabhu ki Jai. Hare Krishna Prabhu ji. Thank you very
Hare
much for
Krishna.
being here.
Devotees, Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Shri JIVA TATTVA, thank you so much. I'll give you a call later.